Hi, this is Julie with Beadaholique, and in this video I'm going to show you how to make this bracelet here. It's a really fun, colorful design and it's pretty easy to make. The supplies you're going to need are some thick cotton cord. Now this is colorful cotton cord. You see it's patterned and it measures 9 millimeters by 7 millimeters, so it's a little bit of an oval shape to it. You're going to get quite a bit of this when you purchase it. For the findings, we're going to be using a little finding set, which includes end caps, and they're 8 millimeters in size, but they will fit this. A little bail, which we're not going to be using, a toggle clasp, and the jump rings to attach these all together. So that's nice that it comes as a complete collection. We're also going to be using some size 32 PP rhinestone cup chain. I have this really fun blue and silver one. And then to wrap the cup chain onto the bracelet itself, we're going to be using Griffin silk size 16. So those are the supplies you're going to need in addition to some E6000 glue. And then for the tools, you'll need a pair of scissors, a cutter. Now I'm going to be using a heavier duty cutter than I normally do because it's actually going to cut my cord for me as well. A couple pairs of chain nose pliers for your jump ring, a scrap piece of paper, Post-it notes, and some type of applicator for your glue, and then a ruler as well. So without further ado, let me show you how to make this. The first step is going to be to cut our cotton cord, and I want to show you the finished example before I do this to note a couple important things about how much we're going to measure. So if you notice the clasp and the barrel ends, they're going to add about 1 inch. Now I know this looks like more than 1 inch, but you got to remember that some of the cord is set down into the barrel ends, so count on 1 inch for the actual clasp set. Now also take a look at the cord itself and you'll notice how thick it is. Because it is so thick, we actually need to cut more cord than you would think. So let's say this was a regular bracelet and we wanted it to be 8 inches. We'd take 8 inches and minus 1 inch for the clasp, and that would leave us with 7 inches. So you'd presume that's what you would cut for the cord. In this case, you actually want to add 1 inch to that to account for this bending of this super thick cord. So we're going to cut ourselves 8 inches of cord, not 7. So whatever measurement you would normally go with, whether it's 6 inches, 7 inches, 8 inches, for whatever size bracelet you would want, just add 1 inch. So I'm going to put this on the ruler, and at the 8-inch mark, I'm going to cut it. And I love these heavier duty cutters because it just cuts right through it. We have a nice clean cut. So I am still shooting for an 8-inch bracelet, so I cut 8 inches of the cord, and then I'm going to add about 1 inch for my clasp set. So let's now go ahead and attach one of our ends. To do that, we're going to go ahead and take the E6000 glue and put a little bit on a scrap piece of paper. And then I have an old head pin as an applicator, and I'm going to actually put it into the well of the barrel end. And just spread it around. Now I'm going to take the end of my cord and I'm going to push it in there. And it is a tight fit, but it does fit. And what helps is to twist it around. And that pushes it in even further. And that's why we coated the sides of the cord end with glue. There we go, and that is on there. We've got one end on, now we're going to do the second end. So just fill that well again, and now we're going to put the cord into the end, and remember to twist it and push. There we go. So that is ready to go. So now we need to wrap our cup chain onto the cord. So we've got our Griffin silk, size 16. We're going to start by making a simple overhand knot, and we're going to slide that onto one of the ends of our cord and pull the knot tight. Now we're going to make another knot on top of it and a third knot. And scoot that as close to the metal end cap as you can. Hold the tail towards the length of the bracelet, and then take the other end, which has the length of the Griffin silk, and wrap it around the knot and over that cord. So do that a couple times. And now we're ready to start to wrap on our cup chain. Now, rhinestone cup chain, if you're not familiar with it, is great because it's got these, of course, wonderful rhinestones, but they're connected by these little metal bridges, and those are the bridges that we're going to be wrapping our Griffin silk up and over to secure it to this bracelet. So go ahead, hold the cup chain on top of the bracelet, and we're going to follow the nice natural curve of the cotton cord. And we're going to take our Griffin silk and we're going to go up and over that first thread bridge and around both the cord and the rhinestone cup chain. And then we're going to do that to the next thread bridge. Go ahead and move that tail out of the way because we're going to trim that later on. Okay. So, and we're just going to wrap around and around. The first couple are the trickiest because you're really trying to just secure that chain in place. You'll notice here in a few minutes it's going to get a lot easier. So I'm just working my way down, holding it. So this is what we have so far. And now I'm going to go an easier route. I'm going to rotate my angle here and just wrap. If that tail gets in your way, you can just trim it off if you want. Here. I'll trim it better later. Okay. Around and around, always over those metal bridges. Work your way down. Now, one thing you do want to check as you go is you want to make sure that, one, you haven't missed any bridges. You also want to make sure that the cup chain's not twisting along the cord. Now, I did not pre-cut my cup chain. It came as a foot length because I didn't want to accidentally cut it too short and then have to start all over. I'm almost to the end. So at this point, I'm holding my cord and I'm holding the Griffin silk and everything together, and I can see where I need to cut it. So this is going to be my last one. So to cut the rhinestone cup chain, I'll be doing this left-handed. Let's see. It actually could be either one, but I'm going to cut it right here. Just going to cut through that metal bridge and snip it off. Then I'll wrap that last one. I'm going to go over it one more time for good measure because it is the last one. Now I need to tie a knot here. Now, because there is that needle with the Griffin silk, you can use it to go ahead and catch under the last loop of the silk you did. Pull it, go ahead, knot it, and pull it tight. Now I'm going to wrap it a couple more times, and I'm going to do that one more time as well, because I want several knots on this end. I'm just going to tuck this tail under. And trim it off. And go back here to the beginning and trim off this tail as well. So here is what we have, and all we need to do now is attach our clasp, which is great because it came with the little findings kit. We've got those oval jump rings as well. So to open a jump ring, whether it's round or oval, whatever shape it might be, you're going to grab either side of it with a pair of chain nose pliers with the opening up top, and you're just going to twist. We're going to grab the toggle bar and attach it to one of the cord ends. And close it back up the same way you opened it. And we're going to go to the other side with the toggle ring and do the same thing. What's nice, this is a really flexible bracelet, it's very soft. And then close it back up. Now I'm going to do it on camera here, but I would not recommend closing it back up until the barrel ends are fully dry, because you just don't want to pull on them at all, but I'm going to go for it with the video here so you can see the finished piece. So there is how you make these really fun and colorful bracelets using rhinestone cup chain, round pattern cotton cord, and Griffin silk. And you can find all the supplies for these at Beadaholique.com.